Okay, so today we are going to have a look at a project that I have been working on for so long time. So I am building a classical acoustic guitar that I am building from scratch. So I started building this guitar for almost 35 years ago in 1990. And in the 90s there were no such thing as YouTube, so I haven't actually documented it from the start, but I will document it from now on and share it with you. When I picked up this project, I didn't have any plan putting it out on YouTube, so I just took still photos. So there will be a little bit of slideshow with still images in the beginning. And when I started filming the process, boy, then I really filmed. So hang in there. And it was during the pandemic I finally got time to pick up this project, and at that point the guitar looked like this. The sides were on its way, almost complete. We had the neck going on here as well, and we had the back here that was started. And one thing with this project is that most of the materials used so far is made out of scrap wood. Yeah, that's right. I used to work as a woodworker at that time, building interiors and furnitures. And the wood you see here in the image was actually thrown away by the company I worked for. I mean, throwing away wood like mahogany or maple, that is just crazy. So I grabbed those pieces and took them away for my guitar project. I also started to do this dovetail joint for the neck. And yeah, this is going to be a challenge to make the neck fit in that one, but yeah, that's a later project. We had made all these, that makes it a lot easier to get the front and back to glue to the sides. Here we see the back that has a couple of strips here of veneer, which is very much of an aesthetic point of view, of course. And here we have reinforced this joint. And here we can see the sides that are going to fit on the back, and also have these aesthetic veneers that are going to match up with this one. I mean, it's going to be a challenge. And when I started building this guitar back in the 90s, how the heck do you learn how to build a guitar? There were no internet, absolutely no YouTube. At that time I lived in my small hometown with a small bookshop, and they didn't have any books on guitar building. But I ordered this one. Klassisk Gitarbygning. Yeah, I can't even read this. This isn't in Swedish. This is a Danish book. I couldn't find a Swedish book. I couldn't find an English book. All we could find was this Danish books, which was close enough. I mean, Swedish and Danish are pretty close. Some people have pretty easy to understand Danish. I am not one of these. I have it very difficult. But the book has a lot of pictures, and if I read the text I can understand it barely, or I can get the overview of it. I could at least see some of the moments, how they were done, and I could see some of the tools that were used. But this was the only instruction that I had to go for. And the guitar on the image is what I am building. So the design of the guitar is actually this guitar. And we'll see how close we're getting. Okay. And here we can see the back and the sides. Yeah. So this is how far I come. Yeah, they're pretty much work that is actually done, but there's so much work left. Yeah, and here we can see that it actually is looking like a guitar. And hey, have a look at this and think of this as scrap wood. It's just hard to believe. Here we have it. And during the pandemic, suddenly I had a lot of time, so I could continue this project. And this was my starting point. Here we can see them together. And here we also can see the jig that we're using when building the body. And at the time I got my hands on this wood, I worked as a woodworker, cabinet maker or interior carpenter. I'm not really sure about the term, but I was building interior and furnitures. So at that time I had access to a total workshop that was so valuable. So shaping the headstock was one of these crucial things I had to do when I had access to all the machinery. And this headstock design is actually inspired very much of the cabinet that my grandfather built once upon a time. Both my grandfathers were very good working with wood, and maybe that's why I have it in my blood. That's probably the only aesthetic detail that is different from this one. And here we also can see that we have 2 layers of veneers. I think it's really, really nice. I love it. And as you can see here on the neck, I still have the dovetail to do to fit into the body, and everything else is left on the neck, and that's a huge project. Have no idea how it will turn out. So now it was actually time to glue the back to the sides. Yeah, that's kind of a nervous process because you have one shot doing it. If there's a mistake, then I have no idea how to solve it. And that's the thing with so many of the tasks when building a guitar. You have one shot. And these were things that I had never done before. So some moments are really, really scary. We did saw out the back, and it was time to shape the bracings. And shaping braces is a process that is so rewarding. You will see it in the movies when shaping your bracing for the top. This is what it looks like. Beautiful. And here they are shaped and ready. So to glue the bottom to the sides, we need to have clamps, lots of clamps. And you could either buy them at Stumac. That would cost a fortune for just building one guitar. So I decided really quickly that I will build the spool clamps myself. And here we have them. A bunch of them. And they are actually really simple to build. Here we have some oak. Oak, not because it's beautiful, but because oak is very hard. And on the oak we glued cork that is soft. And we can tighten them just like this. So this is a very cheap way to build clamps that can have many of to put around the body. And many of the tools we used during this process we built ourselves because it's a lot cheaper. Here we can see the spool clamps in production. Here we have them. Aren't they beautiful? Yeah, here they are. And here, this was the first time we glued the sides to the bottom, and it was so scary. And we didn't film this time. I think we were kind of nervous. You have to be so fast to make all the moves before the glues grab the wood. And here we can see Irene is cleaning some of the leftover glue. You can see here, it's quite a bunch of clamps that we are using around the edge. And at the neck joint and the back, we used heavier clamps. I think it looks so beautiful with all the clamps here. And here we can see the joint in detail. And the thing here is, when you look at professionally built guitars, if you look at the joint, it's where you can see if it's made with love or not. A cheap guitar will have glue just dripping out, but a really professional, well-built guitar will look clean and neat. And you can see here that we wiped off the excessive glue. The aesthetic with having no extra glue visible is kind of silly actually, because if there are glue pouring out, that means that there have been used a lot of glue, which also means that the sides is grabbing to the back really well. If you want to make this beautiful joint, you put less glue on the sides, but that also means that it might not grab as good as if you have put a little bit more. So, but I mean, when you're building one guitar, you want to have it clean and neat. So we were really keen to get this joint beautiful. Yeah. The sides were glued to the back, and it was one big moment coming up. Now it's time to attach the plate with the name of the luthier, me, and the year the guitar was built. Okay, so to make this fit, a little scary moment. We'd place some tape as a guide to where the plate is supposed to go. And you have one shot doing this. And if you don't make it, you can't just rip it off, because that would leave marks and glue from the plate, and yeah, we had to get it right the first time. Okay, I'm really careful with this one. Slow and easy. There we go. Ja, men visst va? Det är ju toppen. Shit. Lovely. Bra. Okay, I guess you can see that I'm pretty satisfied and happy at that moment. And boy, it's such a relief to just get it there. And the plate says 2023, and that's not the year that this guitar was finished. It's not finished now, so. But I figured out, we put a plate with a year that says when we put the plate there. I'm not sure how we otherwise would have done it. Yeah. So here we have it, my name, the city where it was built, and the year that it was built. Or in this case, it's the year that at least the plate came in place. So, gluing the back to the sides was a kind of big moment for me, and it was such a relief to actually get it done. I have been thinking about that process for a long time and just procrastinated it to do it at a later point, but finally come to a point where you just have to do it. So this was the first step during the pandemic when I picked up this project again, and it's come a long way since then. So if you think this kind of videos is interesting, please hit the subscribe button, the like button, and I would be happy if you would like to write something in the comments. It's always such a pleasure to see what you are thinking about what you have seen. Maybe you have some tips or a question about this project, and yeah, we're going to continue this one because now I'm really in the mood to get this guitar done. And it feels so good to finally be back working with wood again. And I will do it as often as I can, between making music, renovating the soundtracks, Jade, and everything else that's going on in this studio in our life. But I mean, everything is so much fun to do, so I just have to do everything, even if it sometimes takes a lot of time. So this was the first part of the guitar building series, and there will come more videos pretty soon. So until then, have a beautiful day, take care, relax, breathe, and see you in the next video. Ciao.